Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, the Tanya Takeover, where I'm your girl Tanya, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about how I went from broke, lazy, and unmotivated to an actual homeowner, okay? So if you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, because on my channel we talk about finance, we talk about motivation, just getting out of your situation, getting your life together, and getting to the next step so that you too could be an entrepreneur, business owner, and doing the damn thing. So if that's something that you might be interested in, consider hitting that notification bell and subscribing to my channel. It would be so appreciated. And let's get started. Now today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my story on how I purchased my first home. Now I feel like when purchasing your first home or becoming a homeowner, people get stuck in this mindset that you have to have all this money in the bank, you have to have an 800 credit score, you have to have all your ducks aligned in a row. I mean, I didn't have any of that when I bought my house. I was working on my credit. I was saving, of course. I was just saving for a rainy day, not necessarily a house, because I had so many other things on my plate. I had made it 4 years into my business, and things were just finally starting to even out. Like I was finally on like kind of even playing field where the business was making more. I was able to step back from it, and I was finally able to have like money in the bank and savings instead of putting everything towards my business. Once I got there, I realized, you know what, it's time to get out of this 2-bedroom apartment that I was in for the last 4 years. Not to say that having an apartment or anything is bad. I mean, everybody has different preferences. But to me, I felt like living in an apartment was kind of like throwing money in the air. I was putting money towards somebody else's mortgage, towards somebody else's business and somebody else's pockets. That's just something I wasn't willing to do any longer. So I got my butt up and I started looking for houses. Now, when purchasing your first home, I would definitely say to definitely have a budget in mind. Now, when I say have a budget, know exactly how much you're bringing in, how much you can afford when it comes to a mortgage or anything like that. Keep in mind closing costs and all the different things that comes into buying a house. I'm not going to get too detailed into it because I do have a video on how I bought my first investment property, so I will list it up top so you guys can see. But just know that there are different things that go into purchasing a house. Make sure that you have money for home insurance and the down payment, of course, the brokerage fees, just things that go into buying a home. Make sure you have a budget laid out for you, that you know what you want, how you want, and what you can afford. So now when I started looking at homes, the first websites I checked out were Trulia and Zillow. Now when I checked out these websites, I was putting in a range of the vicinity I wanted to look in. But keep in mind that with the housing market now, houses may not be readily available. There's a lot of people who are staying in homes, moving a lot. I know there's a lot of people moving in and out of New York. So those are just things to keep in mind. Right now, the housing market might be a perfect place to start looking for a home because people are moving in, people are moving out, and they just want to get out of this situation. So make sure that when you're putting in your address or putting in your zip code for where you're looking, keep the range broad. Don't keep yourself in a set place, because when you do that, you're blocking yourself off from other opportunities that have beautiful homes that might be not as far as you might have thought. When I purchased this home, I had never even heard of the town. I was looking everywhere that I've heard of, but this town that I'm in, I never heard of it. And when I originally went to go see it, I actually canceled the appointment. I called them up and said, you know what, I've never heard of this, I'm not gonna come, I don't know how far this is, blah, blah, blah. And I could have missed out on a really great opportunity. Honestly speaking, I got desperate. The other houses didn't have quite everything that I wanted. I knew I wanted a basement. I knew I wanted a large backyard. Like, those were just things I wasn't willing to compromise on. And those houses weren't giving me that. Maybe they'd have the kitchen I want, but they didn't have the backyard space. Or maybe they'd have the basement, but it was like short ceilings or whatever it is. So I ended up calling back the realtor for the house that I'm currently in, and said, you know what, why not? Why not go look, go see, you know, take a day out of it, and that's exactly what I did. I scheduled like 4 or 5 different appointments in one day and just went and saw several different houses. Now, mind you, I remember it like yesterday. Mind you, the first house I went into had cats all over the house. We were in there with the realtor looking at the house, and it was pitch black, you know, we really couldn't see anything, and then out of nowhere we just hear this rumbling, and then these something jumped out at us. Come to find out they had cats. We never got out of that house so fast. But that was the house I went to see actually before this one. And when I pulled up to this house, I just knew. Now, keep in mind that when you find the house that's meant for you, you're gonna just feel it. When I walked into this house, I said, you know what? I love this house. But I looked at the price and realized that, you know, it might have been a lot out of my budget. And I feel like when I initially took the tour of the house, I really wasn't looking at, you know, around the house. I wasn't really looking too far into it, because in my mind I already cut myself out. I can't afford this house. What? This house is great. You know, I love the area. I love the backyard. It has the basement I want. I cannot afford this. There's no way. So when I looked at the house, I was kind of already shooting myself down. I was already saying, you know what, Tanya, you need to find something a little bit smaller, maybe do a different neighborhood. Maybe this wasn't for you. Now, of course, when you do that, you're blocking your blessings, you're blocking just things that could have happened, things that you could have made happen. And I'm so lucky that the realtor was able to sit down with me and just say, you know what? Based on everything that I'm seeing and the criteria you're looking for, maybe this house is for you. So that's exactly what I did. I started looking at the house, I started researching, and realized that I could afford this house. I kept my options open, I kept looking, and I was looking for up to 1 year. So that's a big lesson, guys. Do not get discouraged. The perfect house will come. I was taking the time to look every night, sometimes, you know, 3 times a week. Anytime I got a chance to, I was looking for houses, because you never know what's gonna come up, especially in this economy and things that are happening. People are moving in and out of New York, out of New Jersey area quickly because of everything going on. So that may be an opportunity for somebody who's looking to purchase a home. So make sure that you guys are looking constantly, keeping your searchings up, and do not get discouraged. It took me 1 whole year, but I am so happy that I took the time out to, you know, really just look and get something that's perfect and right for me. When saving for my home, I did a lot of different things. I talk a lot about it when my video regarding savings and how I saved 20K in 6 months. I did a lot of transferring money and keeping it into a savings account when I was purchasing my home. So what I did was I would have like, I know I would get paid every 2 weeks. I would make sure that I would pay myself first and transfer money directly into a savings account that I didn't even get to see it or touch it or feel it. And that's how I was able to accumulate a lot of money quickly. I did that for about 6 months to a year, and before I knew it, I had my down payment. Now, everybody's savings is different, and I know that, you know, right now, you know, it's hard to save, it really is. But you never know what you're capable of until you start. So start off small, start with $50, start with $100. Maybe it's going to take you a little bit longer to get to your goal, but eventually you will get there. Guys, looking at me, I never thought that I would own a home. I knew I was going to own a home, but I didn't know I was going to get it done in less than 2 years. And I'm so happy that I, you know, took the time out to just not count myself out. Because looking at my savings account and everything that I had to go through when, you know, starting my business, I wasn't ready to purchase a home. I really wasn't. But I just knew I wanted to get out of my situation. I was tired of renting and just feeling like I was just ripping money up in the air. And I wanted to make that move. And I did, and it worked out great. So do not count yourself out, guys. Another thing I did was I ventured outside of my comfort zone. Now, when I started looking at homes, I looked and saw that, you know, I had this budget. I could only afford a certain amount for my home. But I kept my options open. I knew what I wanted. I knew that even though, you know, I didn't quite have the amount that they were looking for at the time, I still wanted the basement. I still wanted an outside play area for the kids. I still wanted space. So that was just something I just wasn't willing to compromise on. And for that reason, I was pushed to move outside my comfort zone. Because I'm so happy that I did, because I would have been in a home that I would have outgrown quickly. You guys know from my vlogs and just seeing my videos that I always have kids around me. The kids are always here, they're running around, they're playing. And I'm just so grateful that they're able to have that space here so that they can venture out and move and, you know, go in the backyard and play and go in the basement and run amok, okay? That was the whole reason reason I chose the way I did. I didn't count myself out. I mean, if I would have ever said, you know, I want to stay under $1 million or anything like that, I would have closed myself off to opportunities I never would have gotten in the first place. So make sure that you're not staying inside your comfort zone, guys. You never know what you can afford or what you can do until you're put in that situation. And I'm not saying jump out the window and jump into this house that you cannot afford. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to keep your options open. See a few homes in your price range and see a few homes that are slightly above your price range. You never know what people's situations are. A lot of people are very motivated to sell right now, and you don't know what kind of deals you can get. You don't know how soon they're looking to move, how soon they're looking to get out of their situation, or that the home that you might be looking at as your source of freedom could be something that's keeping them stuck in a situation they don't want to be in. So that's all I'm saying, is to not keep yourself locked in, because if I would have looked at the price tag of the house I'm currently in, I would have never came to see it. I would have never thought I could afford it. I would have said, you know what, no, I can't do it. I'm not even gonna go, you know. And I'm so happy that I did, because 6 months later I was in this home. I was in this home that I thought that I could not afford, and I'm so happy and thankful that I did. So make sure you guys are thinking outside your comfort zone and looking to see and making an offer. What could it hurt? Okay, so make sure you're not counting yourself out and you are still going for what you want. Be uncompromising and go for exactly what you want. So the next thing I did when purchasing my home is a little secret. I didn't only look for homes that were for sale. I actually looked for homes that were for rent. Now, sometimes people will put their houses for rent because they're not able to get the price they want, or they're looking to sell but not right away, or they're looking to recoup some of the finances that they had put down in the house. When I looked at my home, it was currently for rent, and when I spoke to the homeowner, they said that they wanted to rent the house for a few months and then sell the home. This worked out perfectly for me. I thought this idea was perfect because, first of all, I got to see if I like the neighborhood. Do I like the feel of it? Is it close to, you know, my meetings and anything I had to go to? Was it close to family and friends? I got to see whether I could afford the house. You know, how was I on the mortgage payments? How was I on the rental payments? Was I able to keep up with them? The next thing is I got to build a relationship with the homeowner. And I feel like this is key. When you're looking for a home and say you don't have the credit score or you don't have the down payment for the home, think about renting the home, but asking a few key questions. Ask them, are they looking to sell the home? Are they looking to sell the home within a certain amount of time? Will they be willing to work with you? When I purchased this home, I was able to build a relationship with the person who owned the home prior, so that when it was time to purchase the home, it was seamless. You know, they knew I was good at paying my bills on time. They knew that if they had a problem or a question or anything like that, I was communicative. You know, we were able to speak and be comfortable with one another. And I feel like that is just something that people take for granted. When you go into a home, yes, I was thinking, okay, you know what? I went from renting a 2-bedroom apartment to renting a home, but I knew that it was coming to an end. I knew if I would eventually own this home, where with that apartment, I knew I would never own that apartment. So I was able to build up a relationship for a year, and actually before my 1 year was up, the homeowner came to me and asked me, you know what, are you ready to purchase this home? You know, what do we have to do to purchase it? And it was done from there. I was buying my home the next 2 months. So guys, I'm just trying to tell you guys, don't block your blessings. Don't block the things that, you know, you think that aren't made for you, or the things that you don't see yourself doing. If anybody would have told me that I would be owning my home now, I would have been like, you know what, I wasn't ready. I honestly wasn't ready to own a home, but I just knew I wanted to get out of my situation, and I was able to do that by starting off renting. So that is definitely something I would definitely recommend to somebody. Just make sure that you're asking the key questions. When you go into a rental, make sure that they want to sell the home. Now, don't be stuck into a rental property with somebody who that never wants to sell the home. I mean, you'll be begging them to sell, they'll be raising the price on you. It's just a headache that you do not want. Make sure you're asking the key questions to get the home that you want and go from unmotivated to homeowner. So guys, these are just a few things that I went through when purchasing my home, and how I went from unmotivated to homeowner in under 6 months. So as always, guys, don't forget to leave me something in the comments. Are you guys looking to purchase your own home? Did I give you guys a few little tidbits on what you can do to purchase your home? And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. It doesn't cost a thing. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.